What's up, everybody? So I started playing with this last night. If you watched yesterday, I did this meditation Chico. This was the first iteration of it. Redid that one, and I started playing with like the background stuff, and I think it came out pretty cool. I want to continue on with it and continue tweaking it and stuff. I'm not listening to NCS. Someone recommended this site, which is pretty awesome. It's lp.anzi.kr. I'll put the link in here. But I believe it's just independent people, and I but it's pretty chill. I dig it. Son, this isn't Spotify. Alright, so I'm just gonna keep playing with this. I decided what I wanted to do was all my Chicos have been very like bubbly and glass looking because of all the harsh highlights. I decided to nix those on this one, and I'm just gonna do like subtle highlights as if the light's coming behind him. So yeah, I'm just gonna play around with it. Let's lock this stuff in the background so I don't accidentally select it. Cool. I will, Amrith. I will. All right. See, I'm not sure if the legs would have it, because I feel like the front of the legs would be covered up. But I suppose there could be some sort of reflection on like the top of it. And also, it doesn't have to be perfect, I don't think. How's everyone doing? That's a little bit too much. Yeah, isn't that site beautiful? Like just the design of it is gorgeous. The colors are spot on. And I love the little animations and such too. Oh, you know what I did last night? If we go to watch me practice, just so you guys know, I added a bunch of stuff to the site so you can actually go back and rewatch old ones. This one, I apologize, there's not any sound because I use Spotify, but the first one, and hopefully this current one, you'll be able to rewatch if you want. All right. Hey Casper, I'll leave the link here in the chat. Are you guys, is the stream buffering for you? YouTube says I have very low output, which is weird because my internet seems to be pretty good. Yeah, Chico's going to be both free and paid, just so you know. I'm going to do, my goal is to have all the guides be free and then create premium courses on top of that if you want to like dive deeper. Okay. Sometimes I can use the eyedropper tool to select the opacity as well, but sometimes it does not work. I'm not sure like what the basis for it working and not working is. Stream is fine. Okay. I'm glad the stream's doing okay. If it's buffering, I apologize for that. Not really sure how to fix it. Courses on design? Yeah, of course. I want to cover like all sorts of things, like wireframing, color theory, the foundations and principles of design I want to do. I'm sticking at those for the start. Those are going to be the first guides, and then I'll probably branch out from there. There's a million different directions I could take this, I think. I've never tried Inkscape or Krita. I've never actually heard of Krita. I did play with GIMP way back in the day when I first got started in graphic design. But a friend gave me a copy of Photoshop shortly after, so I didn't use it that long. I don't really know much about those, to be honest. And I do have Dribble invites. I have 2 of them. I'm going to be doing another contest like I did a while back on my YouTube channel. So be on the lookout for that. What's up, Zero? All right, let's see. What else would need... Let's play with the mountains, because I'm not digging like this. I think I want it more... Excuse me. My throat's a bit wonky today. I'm thinking I want this to be more pointy. So what I'm going to do... Not like pointy, but like pointier. Then let's add some other ones. This one will go up. That'll go down. This will go up. Yeah, something more like that. Except I want it to look a little bit nicer. And then I can grab these anchor points and bring in the corner radius a bit. Yeah, I like that a bit more. Shortcuts to add anchor points. Yeah, so what I do, like if I want to add an anchor point to this cloud, hit the A key, and that brings up the direct select tool. You have two selection tools. You have the selection tool and the direct select tool. The direct select tool is how you interact with anchor points. And then you can hit the plus key on your keyboard and just add an anchor point wherever you want. And then minus does the opposite and removes anchor points. And then, so if you grab that, hit A, and then select just that individual anchor point, you can go ahead and mess with that. Hope that helps. All right, what I want to do, I guess let's just do the same thing for these. That's too pointy. Do it very slight, I think. Better. Amaranth orange sun. So the reason I did it with this is because I feel like this yellow works very well with the blue. Let's try an orange though, see how it looks. I want it to be all very desaturated, and I find it very difficult to find a good desaturated orange color. That doesn't look bad. What if this was the yellow, but the orange was on the inside? Nah, I don't like that. I think I'm gonna keep it as is. What kind of questions will I answer? Probably not coding questions, but feel free to ask whatever. All right. Let's add 1, 1, 2, 3 on each side. I thought about using a gradient amaranth, but I kind of like the idea of just doing the whole illustration as flat, but I don't know, I may tweak that later. Amol, I'd prefer you did not use this design. But if you go to my last daily design video, let's see. Mackenzie Child. All right, so on the very last one, I gave away all of them. Yeah, the link is in the description on episode 50, but I gave away the design files for all of those, so that's should be plenty to practice with if you want. Mrs. Gatsky, how did I create the shape of the sun? So let me show you. So what I did was created a yellow circle like so. Then I hit the rounded rectangle tool, and from the very center I made a little stroke like this, and then hit A, brought in the radius of it. So what I did from here was grabbed that center point and dragged it out like this, and then grab the rotate tool and hold Option and select in the very center of the big circle, and hold Alt, or sorry, Option. Hold Option, click that, and then it brings up this dialog box. Rotate it 30 degrees and hit copy. And then hit Command D a bunch of times to do that over and over again. That way it creates a perfect circle. And then from here, I selected everything except for that inside circle, did Command C, Command F to paste it in front, and then hit E and Shift, and I shifted everything over 45 degrees. And then I think it was feeling a little bit weird, so I, what did I do? Yeah, something like that. I might have done it once more. Well, that's a bit too much. But yeah, that's the gist of it. Hope that helps. Let's delete these little strokes. Bring these down a bit. Do 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 do. Pani, yes, absolutely. Anybody can learn to illustrate. I am absolutely terrible at drawing. Let me show you some. All right, so I did this illustration the other day for Coach. This stopwatch one. And let's see if I can find the sketch. So this was the original sketch of it. You can tell that my drawing skills are awful. I find it much easier to make illustrations and such in Illustrator. Eventually my goal is to be able to do it by hand like Rocky Rourke does. one of my favorite illustrators, but you do not need to be good at drawing in order to illustrate. And the way to learn it is you just start doing it. What am I drinking? I am drinking water. James, don't be salty about the code. There's other people doing it who are much more passionate about it than I am. But to answer your question, I chose YouTube over Twitch just because I have an audience on YouTube and I want to continue building this up instead of trying to divide it between something else. Ricardo, right now I'm just using the normal Apple Magic Mouse. I do have a tablet that I tried to create this very shitty sketch of my idea. You can see the illustration ended up being quite a bit different, but Silver Sky, you draw anatomy and stuff. That's pretty cool. That stuff has to be hard to do. All right. All right. Let's see what to do next. Let's fix this last cloud, or I mean mountaintop part. I have not tried Adobe XD yet. I downloaded it and opened it, but I kind of stopped there. I'm not really sure why, to be honest. Do you think it's possible to work as a designer front end, or is it best practice to make one direction? I do both. So, yeah. Techno Gap, are you going to keep the rainbow color text above? I'm not sure. I feel like it doesn't really match, so I'll probably end up tweaking it a bit, but I don't know yet, to be honest. Let's see. So let's do these little shadow things. I'm going to... Here, I'll show you guys a little trick. So what I need to do is create a mask. So I want this little shadow thing to be on top of the mountains. So what I do is select both of these mountains, just make it a unified shape, like so. Let's delete this, and then I bring it up top, the mountain shape on top of the shadow. I select both of them and hit Command 7. And now I can go back and just move that in the layers panel. And now it's masked at the right shape, so it doesn't extend past where it should. Amrith, I'm going to use Webflow to code this, I believe. All right, let's do the same thing for this. So select all these, grab these shapes, group them. All right, then this, I want it to be like the same as that. McFly, I'm not going to be doing it on Skillshare, but I am going to be doing some design courses here on Chico. Let's drop the opacity. What is this at 10%? So this should be way lighter. It's looking good. So the mountains would probably have like some highlights, right? What if I extended past here? Something like this, and I made it the same as this shape. Let's ungroup this. All right, whoops. Does that make sense? If it does, that's way too much. I'm not really digging it. I'm gonna ditch that idea for now. All right, so I need to clean up this file. I don't think I'm gonna do that right now because like this is just covering up like all this part. But when I export it as SVG, probably shouldn't do that. But I'll do that later. I'm gonna jump into Sketch now. All right, let's just do a desktop HD, and I will call this Chico HQ. And I'm just gonna copy this whole illustration. I wish illustrations came over better from Illustrator, but we can clean it up. So I'm gonna ungroup this. There's always clipping masks that I have to go in and delete. I work at a company called Coach, withcoach.com, if you want to check it out. Delete that clip. Let's ungroup that actually. All right, so there is obviously a clip somewhere that is like covering up everything. Or did it just not copy everything? Ugh, delete all that. Okay, let's try this again. I didn't even select everything. Okay, those layers were locked. Let's try this again. All right, that looks a little bit better. All right, so let's fix these. Let's get rid of this clipping mask. This, let's drop it back down to 10%. Whoops. All right, this is annoying. So what I will do is this. I'm just gonna export a PNG for now, and then I'll go back later and clean it up. Yeah, that should be good. And I'll do it as a PNG so I can change background color if I want. 2500 pixels wide is huge. Let's just do like 1500 for now. Oh yeah, that's... Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. There are some things that I wanted to do in the mountains. Like I thought it'd be cool to put like maybe a rainbow in here somewhere, and also maybe like a waterfall coming out of one of the mountains. Should I do that now? I don't know. Better. Cool. All right, so I'm going to use Museo Sans Rounded. The color, I'm going to use this dark brown. Let's see, what challenges do I find working remotely? Working remotely is cool because like I can kind of set my own schedule. Not being able to like chat with people in person kind of sucks sometimes because it'd be easier to do that. But there's stuff like Google Hangouts and Zoom that you can jump on a quick like video chat if you need. It is pretty easy to get like secluded, I think. Like, yeah, you just have to like work against that. Like be persistent about like reaching out to your coworkers and stuff. Communication. Very interested in illustrations, but for me it's really hard to find ideas and be creative. I would start by recreating stuff. Like maybe this, for example. Just try to draw a cat meditating on top of a mountain and see where that goes. I'm not saying like copy other people's styles, but I think recreating other people's work is a great way to learn. Just don't like act like that's yours, because if you're copying someone as practice, it's their work. If that makes sense. Bye, Amrith. Yeah, Drew Wilson is definitely up there for sure. All right, let's get back to this. I wonder if I can just copy paste. Ooh, I can, that's cool. All right, so this is huge. Is this actual text? It is. Why would it? That's so strange. Oh well. It copied over the strokes as, or copied over the text as strokes for some reason. Strange. All right, let's shrink this down. Scale this down. All right, let's center this text. Cool. Oh yeah, the Chico HQ stands for Chico headquarters. That domain, chico.com, was taken, so Chico HQ was a pretty decent one. This looks pretty cool. What would it look like if this illustration was at the very top? That's not bad, actually. Rishi, Chico's going to be both free and paid depending on the stuff. The guides and stuff will be free. Resources will be both free and paid, and courses will probably be paid. All right, so my initial idea for this was to have like this up top and then the title, and then just list out the let me turn off notifications. All right. Oh yeah, what was I saying? So blog post under here. Let's make a little grid real quick. Show layout, layout settings. 60. That's fine. 12. Sure. All right, let's just stick with this. I can always tweak it later. That looks pretty fun, right? Obviously, I would have to check like different sizes and stuff, make sure this is shown like above the fold, which could be difficult on all sizes, but who knows? We'll see. Ugh. Purple, yeah. I do want to do some tutorials on like Illustrator and stuff. So I don't really know exactly what I want to do here. I know I just want to show the blog post. I want to keep it super simple, but I'm not exactly sure how the blog post will look. So yeah, I'm going to skip this for now. Let's go back to Illustrator and play with this a bit more. And actually, I'll just drop all this and just focus on the illustration. Let's try to do a little rainbow. All right, let's select, let's see, maybe like a red color. I want it to be very desaturated though. All right, and then I'll do Command C, Command F to paste it in front. Let's maybe do like a yellow color or an orangish color. Do the same. Whoops, copy front. And I'm just gonna make this the same as the background color. Does that look super weird? A little weird, I kinda like it though. What if we place the rainbow behind the clouds? What do you mean? Like where at exactly were you thinking? Something like this? It's not bad actually. What I want to do, let's see, I think it's this. Nope, not that one. And actually let's do make a rectangle and then do the same thing. That looks kind of fun. Looks like I ate a Beatles cover. I actually normally listen to hip hop, but I don't want to get. I'm hoping this doesn't mess it up. But on the last one, YouTube muted all my audio for listening to Spotify, my normal playlist. Let's make these a little bit brighter. Add a little background for the Rishi. How I'm picking the colors is a program called Color Snapper 2. I have a little hotkey on my computer. Shift Command E is how I set it up. And I can select any color. I find that easier to use than the eyedropper tool. And the cool thing is when you select a color, it selects in, which one is it? This one. You can change the color formats to like RGB or hex code or RGBA if you want. It's pretty useful. Would there not be a shadow for a rainbow? There probably wouldn't, because a rainbow is just a reflection of light. I don't care. Leaving it in for now. Shoot. Gotham, I don't curate LOL colors anymore. I actually sold that off recently, just because I don't have time to keep up with it, and the new peeps got some cool plans for it to keep updating and adding colors and such. Expand. Cool. Ungroup this one. Better. Purple, I don't have a website that shows all that. I've only sold 2 sites. Back in the day, I had this site called artistinspireartists.com. This didn't look anything like this when I ran it, but basically I would just curate like a bunch of different artwork for different like categories, like fashion design or photography or drawing or whatever, and I posted on here, and I ran this for a couple years, and then I just got burnt out with it and ended up selling it. What's up, PKW? Have you any tips? So Rise Weber. So I would say for applying for design jobs, your work matters most. Like if I for one was hiring, I wouldn't care about not a portfolio. I wouldn't care about a resume. Much rather see like the stuff you've actually made. And I think the best way to either get a portfolio, if you don't have a portfolio, the best way to do that, I think, is just create a bunch of stuff for yourself. Twitter, everybody disses on the redesigns, like redesigning Twitter and Facebook and all those sorts of sites, but I think it's a great way to practice. Yeah, so I'm all for doing something like that. Yeah, I'm just drinking water, guys. All right, let's grab all these and make them one shape. Whoops, forgot a few of them. Let's cut that right there. Actually, let's expand that like so. So the water needs to be falling behind the clouds or something, I think. It's looking a little weird though. Maybe it's the stroke weight compared to everything else. What's up, Hups? All right. Let's move this out of the way. Maybe I need something like this to cover it up. Excuse me. It's looking a little better, I think. Yeah, strokes are a little bit big, I think. I'm just trying to like see it like overall. Are they a little big though? I guess because they're like the same size as like this stuff. Yeah, what I'll do, I'll start out by tweaking these a bit. Whoops. All right, let's maybe drop this to 8 points. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe 7. And let's cover up that part. It's looking a little bit better. What's up, guys? I'm not sure I'm going to keep the waterfall. I just thought it would be a fun idea to try. Let's style it a bit more to see if it becomes a little bit better. Maybe add some like some highlights and shadows to it. So copy front. What I'm going to do is subtract that. Do something like this. Let's round that corner in. And I'm just going to make that slightly brighter. I think what I'm going to do is make this one the same. Whoa. And then I will do copy front and bring it in a little bit. And then I'll make the center part a little bit darker. That looks cool. How did you combine all those single bubbles and rectangle shapes? So you use the Pathfinder tool. So let's say I have like a whole bunch of shapes that I want as one. So say like I want this like outline shape. What I could do is go to Pathfinder. If you don't have that, go to Window and then Pathfinder, or it's I guess Shift Command F9. That brings up this box, and you have shape modes, and you can like unite or subtract or minus front or minus back. But basically that's how you work with shapes. So if I unite all of them, it basically creates one big shape. I think the Pathfinder, the Align, and the probably, actually, yeah, these two, Pathfinder and Align, are the two tools I use the most in Illustrator, I believe. Anthony, I am kind of a workaholic, I guess. This sort of stuff, I get fulfilled from, I think. Like it energizes me. I want to keep doing it. So I don't really find it like work that much. That looks better. There'd probably be a shadow under here too, huh? Watch me practice isn't going to be daily. It just happens that my wife is out of town and I'm kind of bored, so I thought I would do a couple live streams. What's up, Javier? All right, so the rainbow is kind of weird, I think. Whoops. Maybe it's just the position of it. What if it went in like the way back? I think the rainbow colors are messing me or throwing me off. What are the actual rainbow colors? Images. All right, so I definitely don't want it to be this vibrant. Actually, I'm not digging where that rainbow's at the moment. Oh, excuse me. Let's make it purple. Maybe make it a bit more desaturated. That looks better. I feel like it just wasn't looking like a rainbow to me. Transparency on the rainbow. That's a great idea. Let's try that. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe drop the shadow. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that was a great suggestion. Patrick, thank you, man. Sam Porter, yes, I did go to the Art Institute of Colorado, of Denver, and I got a degree in graphic design. And my first design job was at a company called Superflow, and I was like, I was the only designer there, but I did like all their creative stuff, I guess. Like I would design like all their signage and like catalogs and brochures and like signage for the big expo events they did. And eventually I started redesigning their website. And that's actually kind of what got me into web design, because every time I sent off my designs, I spent like a bunch of time making it like pixel perfect. And this was also on my end, but like every time I sent it off to the developer, it would just come back with like spacing and padding and all sorts of issues that messed up the design. And that really caused me to want to learn how to code and stuff myself. But also that was an issue on my end because like I didn't understand code at all. Like I didn't understand what was and was not possible when designing for the web. Ooh, let's try transparency on the this. Let's see how that looks. I feel like you wouldn't be able to see through waterfall though. Maybe you could, I don't know. I think I could make that work. It would just be a lot more work to... Actually, I kind of like it now that I look at it. So what I'll need to do for this is let's delete these anchor points, delete that bottom part, and then let's bring these up like so. That looks pretty cool, guys. Sam, it took me years, and I still don't really know how to code that well. Like, I can work my way around. Um, I don't. I feel much more proficient and confident in design than I do for code. That could be because I went to school for design and I was self-taught for everything in code. So maybe I just like have imposter syndrome or something when it comes to that. But yeah, I'm still learning for sure. Yeah, and like yeah, you never stop learning how to code or design, pretty much. I'd still do code for the company I work at called Coach. Um, Lately, I've been using Webflow though, so I haven't actually been touching much code. It's mainly been illustrations and designs nowadays. I kind of like the waterfall. The rainbow's too big, I think. Maybe just shrink it down slightly. I'm digging this though. I wonder if I should put like any trees or anything in here. Or maybe some birds flying or something. I don't know. Mega cool. You can use or you can do animations and stuff in Webflow. They make it super easy. Amrith, go to sleep, man. Madhu, I am not a co-founder of Coach. I'm their designer. Spencer Fry is the founder of Coach. Does the tail need? Whoa. All right, so I made the whole tail brighter. I think that might be a little too much. But there's not really enough room to do like the full highlight part. It's looking pretty good though. I'm liking this. How would little birds look? Let's look at dribble. Birds. So he does birds just like little lines. I could do something like that. I don't think the bird would be perched anywhere. I guess let's try. Brandon, I know you can get code and CSS and stuff from Photoshop. I don't really do it too often though. For whatever reason, I usually just write it by hand. Nowadays, I've been using Webflow though, so I haven't really touched much of that. I think animating Chico to have him like float up and down would be super cool. And maybe have like the sun like spinning or something. Ooh, if I could have like water, if I could have like the highlights and the water like moving, that would be awesome. Let's make stroke like so. Let's put some over here too. I'm liking this. Ooh, I could animate the clouds too. Like if these little background ones were just like moving across. I don't know how to do any of this, by the way, but it would be cool to figure it out. All right, guys. I'm pretty happy with this illustration as is right now. So I think I'm gonna end it right here. Plus it's lunchtime and I'm pretty hungry. You guys have any questions or anything before I bounce? Ricardo, not really sure what I'm going to be doing next time. Probably more of this. Maybe actually design the landing page or the home page for the blog. So what I'm planning in terms of schedule is the definite live stream will be Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and then in between random times, like today I was free, so I hopped on randomly. Follow me on Twitter because I'll always like tweet out when I'm gonna go live. How does the iPhone 7 feel? I love the iPhone 7. I think the size is perfect for my hand, at least. The screen is beautiful. The button is beautiful. The camera on it's pretty awesome too. How do I focus on design and code at the same time? I've been trying to do both and I haven't been doing a very good job. That is totally understandable. Design and code are both huge topics to try to tackle all at once. I would probably say spend a little bit of time doing design only for a little while and then do code only for a little while. Or maybe it suits your like personality better to jump back and forth if that works for you. But they do really go hand in hand. So I really do encourage you to learn at least the basics of both. If you end up liking code better, I feel like you should learn the basics of design too, and vice versa. Do you think design school is a good option or self-teaching is better? I don't think I would go back to design school. I would probably spend all that time just creating stuff myself. Like design school is great for the foundational stuff, but all that you can learn online. Once you get past the foundational stuff, it's a matter of practice and gaining expertise through practice and repetition. So I think you could learn and get just as good as someone who goes to school by doing it yourself. Do you use any prototyping tools for UI or jump straight into Sketch? Well, I usually wireframe using my wireframe kit, or I'll sketch in my notebook and then I jump into Sketch. I don't really use any prototyping tools like Principle or Framer or anything like that yet, but that is something I want to get into. This mic is just to make the audio sound a little bit better. The reason it's like in your face is just so it's like not in my area of hands, so it doesn't get in my way when I'm like typing and stuff. A slogan for Chico would make him legendary. I have been thinking about that actually. Something like a little more, a little better is what I've been leaning towards. I want the Chico brand to be just about like pursuing what you love and like going after it, mainly for designers, obviously, but like I want it to be fun and happy and uplifting, and also I want it to be about like just improving yourself, just constantly like getting a little bit better each day. Also, I've been thinking about that because of this Watch Me Practice live stream. I figure if I do this quite a bit, I will eventually get really, really good, which is my goal. Amadou, hit me up on Twitter. I usually reply more on Twitter than email. Sam Porter, but is the design school worth it just for the resume? I think that depends on the job you're trying to get. Like some people still think it's necessary to have a degree. I do not, just because like there are kids I went to school with who like graduated with not great portfolios because they didn't put in the effort or time to get good at it, but also I've seen people who like grew quite a bit from it. I think it really just depends on you. Like if to learn it by yourself and not go to school, you like have to be self-motivated and self-starting. Get enlightened weekly. Love, Chico. I like that. Corey, do I use any tools for project management? So we use Trello and Slack at Coach, but I am absolutely terrible at keeping up with that sort of thing. So I have yet to find one that fits my needs that I like enough to actually use it. I've tried pretty much everything. I don't know. I find just jotting down my to-dos in my little notebook and scratching them off when I complete them is what works best for me. So if you could go back, would you take a few years off and self-teach yourself instead of going to art school? Yes, I would. Like if I was driving to Denver 3 times a week, which is like over an hour there and over an hour back, 3 days a week. And that was so much time and money spent on that. And I feel like if I just instead sat down at my desk and created 3 designs each week, I would have gotten there myself. I didn't really work on Hector. Hector was RJ McCollum, my buddy's project, and I did a design for him. I'm not sure if he ended up implementing it or not yet. Mega cool, absolutely. The LOL faces are for personal and, or Lil faces are for personal or commercial use, so use them however you want. Do I use any tools or apps for inspiration? I've tried a few. There were... I can't remember the name of them. I don't know. I like to use Dribble and stuff like that. Dribble and Twitter. I like stuff constantly, and I go through and review the stuff I've liked. Instagram, too. I do that. All right, guys, I think I'm going to bounce. I really have to go to the bathroom and get some food and all that, but I hope to see you guys in the next one. For sure, it'll be Saturday, possibly in the week sometime too. But I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.